Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Highlight Podcast. I'm Kenya, your host and the founder of Green to Green Solutions. I'm super excited to be here today. As y'all know, my podcast is just really talking to people in the industry who I just enjoy talking to and who I think are making a big difference in the industry. So today we have Michael here with us. Michael's from Better Days Delivery. Michael, can you just give the people a quick intro and let them know who you are?
Hey, what's happening, y'all? I'm Michael Diaz-Rivera. My pronouns are he, him, his. Calling in from Denver, Colorado. I'm the owner of a cannabis delivery service. We've been in business for almost 3 years now. We deliver throughout the metropolitan area, mainly business to customer delivery, but we do some business to business transport as well.
How did you get into this? Tell us a little bit about your background.
Yeah, it's honestly been a long journey, but how I got into it was ultimately I decided that like legal cannabis delivery was a business that I wanted to start, but it started actually even with me as a teen. I was homeless, selling weed as a way of survival. It was a Friday night. The cops pulled us over. When they pull us over, they find a bunch of bagged up weed in my car. So when they found the weed, they charged me with the felony intent to distribute. I then pled down to possession, thinking that like I I had dreams and goals ahead of me, so I thought a possession was gonna look better than distribution.
Hmm.
But then in hindsight, they all looked at it as a controlled substance, and so it did not make my life any easier with having that felony. But I didn't give up. Luckily, I had a probation officer that told me to go to school or get a job, so I did both. I was working at a family fun center and going to community college at the same time, trying to figure out like what I wanted to do, and the two of them like came together, and I realized that I wanted to work with youth, so I became a fifth grade teacher just because I had a skill for working with
What
kids.
a journey. Well, this is crazy. Okay, so you were a teacher. Okay, then what?
And then yeah, I was a fifth grade teacher for 7 years, and then the pandemic happened, and I realized I was burnt out on teaching,
Hmm.
had just enough savings to start my business, and Colorado was starting this social equity thing where they recognize racism all of a sudden.
Hmm.
They allowed me to through social equity, I was able to start my business, Better Days Delivery Service, and now we're here.
Did
Growing it up.
Colorado, did they do anything to like get your record expunged or get the felony off of your record?
Yeah, like they say they did, but I fell through the cracks somehow of and it's something that I've been following for years. And actually great news, I just recently expunged my felonies, so now I just have to like pay
Yay!
the CBI or the FBI somebody some money to finally wipe that off my record, and that should be sealed. But
It's crazy that you have to pay for that. That's
yeah.
insane. That's insane. It makes no sense that
Yo,
that
like
burden would fall on you when you've already paid the price.
exactly. Like in terms of paying the price, I paid my restitution to the state.
Mhm.
I did my time. I
Mhm.
give back to community, and that still ain't enough in the eyes of the system to
Yeah.
where you still have to jump through hoops. But yeah, that was part of my process of, actually in college, I joined this group, Students for Sensible Drug Policy.
Mhm.
And in this group, I realized that the war on drugs was really a war on us and that none of this was accidental. And
Mhm.
so that's how I learned to be an organizer, and how I learned just so much about like the way that the have nots and the haves have gotten to be here. And so I was also in this group, what was it? The National Drug Policy Network.
Mhm.
And so we were talking about what can we do for those that were harmed by the war on drugs. And also at the time we were trying to ban the box. Cause something else that I know, even though it's just a felony for weed, I've been turned down for so many jobs, so
Yeah.
many
Yeah.
potential housing opportunities just because of this felony, that it was I just wanted to do something so other people didn't have to go through it. So I was organizing trying to see what we could do about that. And there were different groups like Expunge Colorado that were doing the work to expunge people that had
Mhm.
low level nonviolent crimes, but they were mainly focused on Denver. And my felony came from Colorado Springs, which is El Paso County. It's not Denver
Oh,
County.
okay.
So the way that like the nonprofits work and all their rules and stuff, I didn't really qualify. And then even the governor and the mayor, they also did this expungement stuff, but it was only for misdemeanor weed charges. It wasn't for felonies yet again, which even that part is interesting because when I got pulled over with weed,
Mhm.
I didn't even have a half ounce of weed. But because it was bagged up, I pled to a felony for distribution.
Mm,
And
mhm.
then when I pled down to a felony for possession, it was for 8 ounces or more, which that wasn't the amount I had, but
Yeah.
that's what the felony says. So that's the rules I had to go by. And so I wasn't eligible for the governor or the mayor. But
Oh,
luckily,
that's crazy.
yeah,
But I think that that's the thing, like, and because these states and the government officials, they say that they're doing stuff, that they're trying to help, but it's just not enough, right? Like, yeah, I have a misdemeanor, but there are people who actually have way bigger things to consider and way bigger charges that are actually affecting their real life. And so they just
exactly.
don't do enough.
Exactly. And that's one of my biggest things that I struggle with now that I'm in the industry in terms of like survivor's guilt
Mhm.
is that we're in Colorado. We've made billions off of this plant. And
Mhm.
we still have people in these cages because of this plant and it's just not right. And folks just don't want to do what's right. They don't want to do the right thing.
Well, y'all, I got the pleasure. I just got Michael blessed my life when I met him in NCIA, and we recently did a webinar on social equity and delivery. Um, so if you guys haven't already checked that out, definitely check that out on the NCIA's website. But his perspective, and I hadn't followed him on LinkedIn yet, but his perspective is so nice. Every time I see his hashtag, like, better days are coming, and like that's it's just it's so clever, right? It's such an intentional thing behind better days. Like, how did you
Yeah.
choose that name?
Yeah, it was actually it was weird. It came to me like not to be too hippy dippy,
You were
but
high. It was a
it
high
was
idea. It was a high
yeah,
idea.
it was a high idea. Like I'm just listening to music and it just kept coming up in all these songs that I'm listening to. Better
Mhm.
days, better days. And then so I'm just writing and I'm like just playing. I'm trying to come up with the title of my business and I'm like, I'm on the way. And I'm like, better days are on the way. And then
Yeah.
that's what hit. And then I was just kept playing it of like, better days are coming, better days are ahead. It all works
All
different ways.
works. It just flows. It just
Yeah.
and then, like, your branding, I love seeing your marketing content. It's so clean. It looks really just inviting. And just like it makes me want to, I mean, I don't live in Denver, so you don't deliver to Texas, right?
Not yet.
but, but it makes me want to know more about it. So, like,
Mm.
I just would like to commend you and let you know that you're doing an excellent job with your branding.
Yo, thank you. I really appreciate that. And that's really what my business is trying to be a positivity in this dark world of, we all going through the struggle. So if we could just remind people that these rough times are behind us
Mhm.
and better days are on the way, then that's the least I could do. If I get to sell weed on top of that, that's just dope.
Right.
And then in terms of like my marketing, I've been consulting with this lady, Brittany Lynn from Dope Cactus, and she's a rock star. Shout out to black women that rule the world and help us to be better.
Listen, cause that's always a thing for me. Like, every time I'm at a conference, every time I'm anywhere, like, in the cannabis industry space, and I see someone black, I'm like, I gotta know who they are
Yeah.
because there's just not enough. representation in our industry, and it sucks because there was a lot of representation in the prisons for
Yeah.
this plant, right? And then there's still just we still have the burden of carving out a space for us in the legal cannabis industry. How has
Yeah.
that been in Denver? Like, because I know that Denver already doesn't have like a huge minority representation there at all, right?
Yep. No, yeah, exactly. And that's been my whole life, born and raised in Colorado.
Mhm.
It's always been super white. And
Mhm.
so I remember even as a kid that because I'm mixed, and I remember like realizing that I was black because that's where society put me. And
Mhm.
even I remember one of the first times I went to jail telling the cop to put mixed on my paperwork, and he's like, "No, you're black." But anyways, I don't know. I'm rambling, but I've always found like my safe space in the
Mhm.
black space.
Mhm.
That's where my community has always been, and so now that I'm in the industry, I'm the similar to you. Of if I come in these spaces and it's hella white people, I'm just gonna magnetize to the few black people that are in the space, and even just what history has done to our people.
Mhm.
I have to do what I can do to shine light, and as they say, each one reach one, help our people dig up out of this hole that we found ourselves in. That's one of the goals of my business,
I
empowerment.
I know that with Colorado's delivery, it's only open for social equity, right?
Yep.
So
Yeah.
what do they define social equity as in Colorado?
Yep. So yeah, the way you qualify for social equity in Colorado is one of three criteria. One, you could have a weed charge, or actually, you don't even have to be charged. You could have just been like, or maybe you got I don't know the right word, but if you are arrested and
Mhm.
it's on your record, you could qualify for social equity.
Okay.
So some people use that as a loophole, actually. And other ways to get through social equity is if you grew up in an impoverished area, or if you qualify as like poverty in terms
Mhm.
of your income. And then the third one is if you grew up in an area that was targeted by the police,
Okay.
which oftentimes is impoverished areas. So I just so happen to qualify for all three, and that's how I got in through social equity. And then the when because delivery, well, the Denver market is pretty stabilized, I think
Yeah.
is the right word.
Yeah.
It's more mature. The market has been able to set itself up in a way where it's already got its own ecosystem moving.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so when they realized that race was a real thing and they wanted to do something about it through social equity, they didn't know what they could do because all the businesses were already it was
That
already oversaturated.
that was the thing is like they've been online so long up in
Yeah,
Colorado, but social equity, like everybody was just worried about like weed even being legal. They didn't think about all of the implications that come with that and all of the things like and I say this all the time, like when I think about like cannabis going legal at the federal level, there are just so many things that have to be considered with rolling out that in an equitable manner that really addresses the power that this plant has, especially for our communities, but also for the medical communities, for environmental communities, like all of those things that it can really do. It has to be so intentional. And Colorado, unfortunately, had the burden of being the guinea pig, right? And they weren't intentional about the social equity piece.
yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, my kids are banging at the door. Let me. Oh
You're
no, they
fine.
coming
Go
in.
let them in.
They coming in. You good? You good? But I'm sorry, I lost train of thought. But no, yeah, that's was the problem with Colorado is that it's all hindsight.
Mhm.
Of they didn't think about those that were oppressed and pushed down by the war on drugs until it was already families were already beat down, and then
Yeah.
now they're like, oh, it's too late, here, try something. So they attached delivery to social equity, they attached hospitality to social equity,
Mhm.
but both of these businesses are set up in a way that we can't have business unless the established businesses work with us.
Mhm.
And as of right now, 3 years in, they really aren't working with us in a way to make it sustainable. So it's just fun times.
How do you go out and find your partners, or how has that been for you? How have you leveraged?
Yeah, I've just leveraged me of like my love of community, my story
Mhm.
to really differentiate myself. So I just what am I trying to say? I go out to everything that I can. If it's a
Mhm.
community event, I'm there talking to people, one trying to market them about Better Days delivery so that they're more interested in trying a delivery service, but
Mhm.
also just trying to market myself, showing people that I'm much more than just some guy that's trying to sell weed. I'm actually
Yeah.
trying to empower the community. And then I just try to build relationships. And especially with the corporate stores more than even the mom and pops, I have
Mhm.
to do like a multi-pronged approach where
Mhm.
I'm going to go through the store, I'm going to talk to the people at the store, I'm going to meet you at industry events,
Mhm.
I'm going to send emails, I'm going to just show up wherever I can, however I can, so that they realize I'm here for a reason, if that
And
makes
it's crazy because you're always on the go. Like it's literally like if you're not in the car probably delivering something, you're at an event. If you ain't at an event, you delivering product. Like
yeah.
I just admire your hustle. Like I
Mm,
really do admire your hustle because like everyone's not built for that.
right? Yeah.
Everyone is not built for that, and you are making a
Lucky.
huge difference. You're making a huge difference. You're an example. People can see you and look to you. You're a thought leader in the space. Like, I love to hear your opinion on things. So, how do you think that Colorado could improve the delivery and could improve like social equity, even though it's been an afterthought? What could they do now to make it better?
Yeah, and I've given the state, local jurisdictions a bunch of a list of things that they could do to make it better. Like for one, we need financial backing. Majority of social equity operators, money is a major issue for us. One of the main priorities. I'm just making up words. One of the main criteria is that you have to come from an impoverished background. So
Mhm.
if you come from an impoverished background, oh, you got a tomato. Good job, my boy. So if you come from an impoverished background, you probably don't have money like that.
Mhm.
So you're gonna need financial support, even financial understanding
Mhm.
because for and I can speak about myself personally, just the psychology of money of what do you do with it, how do you use it so that you're using it as a tool rather than a necessity like
Yeah.
type thing.
Yeah.
That's something that a lot of folks aren't thinking about. But even beyond supporting people financially, they could even change the rules to make it a more sustainable business model. Like
Mhm.
we know that most customers are going to go to the brick and mortar store. They want the experience of walking into a dispensary. So, for those customers that do still want delivery, what can we do to make the delivery company a more viable option? Well,
Mhm.
we could let those businesses own product. That'll make prices go down, make it more convenient and competitive for them. We could make it so that they can deliver into hotels
Mhm.
because Colorado has a big cannabis tourism industry. And if you're a tourist coming to Colorado, you don't have a car and you need some weed, why not get it delivered to you?
Yeah, yeah.
And if the state regulations won't let that happen, we're just
So
shooting
right
ourselves in
now
the
in the
foot.
state regs, you can't deliver to hotels at all.
Nope, not at all. Like a quarter of my customer orders a day are still to delivery or are still to hotels. And I just have to tell those customers, no, we can't serve you.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Yep.
So I guess if if people want to have weed delivered, they have to stay in an Airbnb if they're visiting Colorado. So just a heads up, if you are visiting Denver and you want better days to come to you, you need to get an Airbnb. So
Yep.
get on the
Now
site
I
and get
know
your Airbnb, book it. If you've already booked a hotel, go ahead and switch it up, and Michael's going to come right to you
that part.
with the product. But also, I think also a big component is because I'm one of the people who wants to go into the dispensary because right now, I my weed man delivers to me, right? But I don't know what I'm getting and I want to learn. Like I want to
Yeah.
learn more. And so I think a huge burden that we have in our industry is not really being able to educate. We don't have the platforms to educate. Instagram doesn't really like us. TikTok hates cannabis. Twitter hates I mean, Twitter, I guess Twitter X, sorry, X now is cannabis friendly,
We
right?
still calling it Twitter.
Right, right. But like there's a huge component missing with being able to educate people on all of the effects that we can have on your life.
Yeah.
How do you use the plant in your real life?
Yeah, well, I smoke flower. Well, I use the plant multiple ways actually. My preferred intake method is just smoking flower. I'm a blunt smoker, always have been. But I'm starting to dabble in other things. No pun intended, but I like to dab. I like to do dabs. I love my wax concentrates, etc. I'm starting to get into edibles and things
Uh-huh.
just because I'm thinking about like the health wise. Now that I'm a new dad, I want to be here as long as I can. So I'm trying to psych myself to stop smoking, but it's such a habit. And
Yeah,
then I've even just been thinking like what you made me think about education, and education is so important for communities, especially communities that have a stigma of weed because of the war on drugs.
absolutely.
So I've just been thinking of like how can we educate our elders about the health properties of this plant and how this could be beneficial to us and even our youth rather than just say no. Yes, we want them to say no. What can we do to educate them so they actually know KNOW about the safe way to use the plant? Oh, did I lose you?
Oh, hold on.
I
Can you
think
hear
your
me now?
screen froze. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna plug in two of my past guests right now. So Canna House, based up in Buffalo, New York, Reggie and Shine, they actually are doing a tour. It's called Care. Instead of Dare, it's called Care, where they go out and they educate parents and teachers and stakeholders in young people's lives about how to have the conversation about cannabis and how
Mm,
to teach them how to explore the plant safely. Obviously, they're not going to tell kids smoke weed as a child, right? Like, but we know that they're going to be presented with these plant is going to be a part of people's lives, especially as more states go recreational, more states go medical. It's going to be in everyone's life, and so they just teach them how to have the conversation with their kids about the plant. So shout out to Reggie and Shine over at Canna House. They are going to be doing an online program. I don't know when it's scheduled for, but Care is a great program. And then also, I want to shout out Otha. Otha has an app. It's called Tetragram.
yep.
You've heard of Tetragram. So that Otha is really changing the education piece of
Yeah.
weed and allowing people to document their experiences, document the symptoms that certain strains help with. So if you are not a member of Tetragram yet, definitely go into the Play Store and download it. He just launched the new version. So definitely start building that community up too so that we can have access to this information.
For real. No, yeah. Ota is just a powerhouse to the industry in itself. But yeah, Tetragram is a dope app. I'm glad
I
it's
I tell
good.
him, when I talked to him, I was like, this is just something that's really gonna change. the
Yeah.
world. One, like all that data is gonna be crazy. But again, all black men in the space really doing their thing. So just
Mm,
shout out to black men in cannabis.
for
Shout out to
real.
y'all. Thank you for all that you do.
Thank you. And shout out
But
to the black women. We ride along with y'all.
listen, we trying, like we got to keep it together. We really have to push forward. And another plug, just if you guys don't know about the Black Cannabis Expo,
Mm,
all there are so many black businesses in the space, and we get together and everyone is there, and it's so empowering to be in a conference room of all black people. It's
yeah.
insane because you don't get that at the traditional conferences. And my I went the first time last year and my mind was literally blown. I was like, where y'all been at?
Right? No, yeah, see, and I didn't go last year. I went the year before that. And I'm bummed because I wanted to go this year and I heard that they were doing a traveling conference, traveling style this year. But
Oh,
as
are
soon
they?
as
Because
the next, as
I
soon as
heard
the
that they
next,
just changed it. I just
oh,
heard they
did they?
changed it. I
Well,
I
maybe I'm out the loop because I need to be at the next one for sure.
I heard the first one was even wilder. Like my mind was blown at the second one, but I heard the first one was bananas.
Yeah,
But
it was
I
dope.
I asked Christy about it because usually I think it's in like
New
I can't
Orleans.
remember it. I think it's supposed to be coming up usually, but I think that she said that they were going to be doing it in Q1 of 2024. If I don't,
Okay.
I could be wrong, but that's what I
Mm,
heard. But yeah, there's just like there are people in this space really doing their thing, and I'm so happy to be along for the ride.
for real though. It's dope people doing dope things. Like
So
you.
thank you. So what other things do you want people to know about Better Days? Like how can we really plug in with you and see what you're doing? I saw you were featured on something just recently. What was that about?
Yeah, we were featured by the Denver Excise and License Cannabis Cares program.
Hmm.
So in Denver, the license department, they have a program for the cannabis industry to do different things where we can show that we care about community. So things like volunteering, donating, just any way that a business can give back that's outside of the traditional way. You
Hmm.
can get badges that'll hopefully encourage customers to spend money with you because you're making a social impact is the hope.
Yeah.
So as one of the leaders, because that's what my business is all about, making a good impact, giving back however we can. I like to consider myself a black hippie. So
Same,
yeah,
same. Like,
yeah. So whatever we can do to give back, that's what the Denver Cannabis Cares program is about. So they highlighted me and my business in that, and I was just elated to get them to share that platform because that's the whole city. And so
what are some of the things that you and the team at Better Days do to give back to the community? Like I know you're super plugged in, so give us a
yeah,
little bit about that.
yes, sustainability is one major part that that's personally very important to me because the world is dying. This global warming stuff is real. So we
Hmm.
drive electric vehicles and we try to do whatever we can to minimize our carbon footprint. So we try to do I can't even speak straight. We use digital manifests for a metric to sign the
Okay.
products. And even like on a health aspect, the goal is to get completely paperless and contactless. So folks ain't got to be touching everything. So
Yeah.
yeah, health equity is a major part of our business. So we also we partner with Leaf 411, the nurse network, so that we actually have medical practitioners that we can connect our customers with to tell them different ways to use this plant for their health. Because yeah, health equity is important. We do volunteer work, and I haven't been able to do enough yet. Still trying to get the business off the ground, but
No, that
we're
is
gonna be stakeholders for sure.
amazing. That is amazing. So, like, I just want to highlight, y'all, Better Days is more than just a delivery service. They care about the community, they care about the industry. Like, I had no idea y'all were. like that green. You gotta put that out there more. I had no
Yeah.
idea. I love that. That's crazy. You're so intentional about your business. Like I cannot wait to see how successful you are. You're the blueprint for what delivery should be. So thank you.
That's love. Thank you. I'm trying to. I'm trying to make the mark. I'm trying to be Colorado's best delivery business, and then we taking over the whole nation, if not the world.
That's crazy. I'm so impressed. Every time I talk to you, I get more and more impressed. Like I had no idea you were this much of a hippie. Like you're a fucking hippie as
Yeah,
fuck.
I'm telling you that you see my son just came in the house. Wait till you see my garden.
Oh my gosh, you got a garden. And
Yeah.
meanwhile, I'm like the most so I'm a hippie, but like I'm also a Texan. So one
Oh,
thing that I hate is like I hate cardboard straws. Give me the plastic straws. But
yeah,
also hemp straws, you guys. Cannabis is more than for just consuming. There's also like industrial benefits. So hemp straws, I'm okay with hemp straws, but those cardboard straws like
yeah.
get me every and I drive a dually, a big Ram 3500 dually. That's like my daily driver. So like I'm gonna take
That's
this and I'm
funny.
gonna try
Yeah.
to be better. Okay, Michael?
Better days are on the way.
Better days are on the way. But how what's the best way to order from you? How do the people like get on the manifest?
Yeah, and then yeah, that's what I was gonna say in terms of how people can support. If you're in Colorado, the Denver metropolitan area, so Denver, Aurora, Greenwood Village, and soon North Glen, you can order through betterdaysdelivery.com. So you go to our website, choose your favorite dispensary, place your order with them, then we pick it up and we'll take it to you. But we're actually getting ready to start fundraising and looking for crowdfunding investments. So follow us on your favorite social medias and stay tuned if you'd like to invest in a company that's going to be growing and doing big things.
And also, if your favorite dispensary in the Denver area
That part.
is not plugged in with Better Days, ask them about it because they need to be. Like they're
Yeah.
doing you a disservice not being plugged in with Michael. So
Thank you. Thank you for saying that. Yeah, if you got a dispensary that wants to reach out and reach more customers, tell them better days are on the way.
awesome, awesome. Well, do you have anything else? Like I thought this was great. I appreciate you. Oh, last thing, and I've been doing it throughout the conversation, but on all of these, I like to highlight. I just want to highlight like what it has meant to be able to experience you and share your energy with you, Michael. Like from the first time that I got on that call with NCIA, you were just such a positive vibe. Like you are one of those people who think of others before you think of yourself. I think the most it's going to seem like such a small example, but I think at one point I was like, "Oh, I don't know if I can make it at this time." And you were like, "Hey, whatever she needs, like let's let the woman decide what time we're going to meet, like whatever it is, like we can make it adaptable." And that was like that made me feel very seen and was very respectful of my time. And so I just like really, really appreciate that. It speaks so much to your character and how you see the world. So I just like you're a great person and
Yeah.
it's appreciated.
That's love, yo. You just gave me chills. I appreciate those. You got me feeling good. Thank you. And I'll pass it back. Actually, I was going to interrupt you earlier. So, anybody that did not see the NCIA Catalyst conversation, Kenya, top of the line facilitator for real. Y'all got to check
Yay!
that out. She's amazing. Follow this woman, support this woman. She's doing big things for the industry. I can't wait to see where you go in the near future. I appreciate you. I'm glad to have you on
Awesome.
my network.
If there's anything that I can do to support, let me know when the crowdfunding starts. I ain't got a lot, but I got a little bit. I want to support
Yeah.
you. I want to see you build this up. You are just gonna change the world. You are the example of what delivery should be. The way that we should be intentional about all of the things that we do. So thank you for that, Michael, and thank you for spending time with me today. I know you got to get back on the road and
Yep.
go get
Yep.
people they weed. So I'm gonna just let you go, okay?
Thank you. Thank you. I'll catch you later. You
Alrighty,
have a
I hope you
great
have a
day,
good
yo.
one. Thank you.